What's up, my dudes? Just reminding you guys to go add me up on Steam because my friends list is filling up pretty quickly, and it may get to the point one day to where I've got my friends list totally maxed out on Steam and won't be able to accept any more friends on there. So if you're trying to get on there, get on my Discord. I'll play some random MX Simulator, PUBG, stuff like that on there. But just letting some of you guys know, because I did realize my friends list was starting to get up there a little bit. So I don't want, some of you hardcore fans to not get in there like as soon as some other people have gotten in there, because I know I haven't really talked about this a lot in videos. But yeah, basically I've been playing a lot on just randomly Steam and all that. So my Steam name is just Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. So it's exactly like my YouTube channel name, but just without the capital S and the T and the space between it. So it's basically just like all one username, Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. Pretty simple. You just got to kind of figure out how to spell, my last name there, and then you'll get it. But yeah, I'll add everybody on there and then get you in the Discord and all that, and we'll definitely have some fun, bro. So either way, wanted to come in here and make this video on sort of a Lucas Oil Pro Motocross sort of DLC to MX vs. ATV All Out. Now, I did make a video on this for the Milestone Motocross games, and I feel like we're probably never going to get that on the Milestone stuff because it's not as simple, like I said back in that old school video, as far as that's all a licensing deal. They got to have they got to have the permission from this and Feld and all this other different stuff to make the games on this. And so that even though they can make the real life Supercross replica tracks, doesn't necessarily mean they can make the Lucas Oil motocross tracks. I don't know. That's just what a lot of people said, and that's what I also said in my video. Some people, I find it kind of funny. Some people, it's like a lot of times they'll comment something on one of my videos like they're telling me some new information, but in reality I already know it. It's just kind of funny when that happens. But yeah, so basically, I think you got a lot better of a shot of getting like a Lucas Oil motocross replica thing on the MX vs. ATV All Out than you do like a Milestone motocross game at this current point anyways. So yeah, that's pretty much what this video is all about. I mean, I'm really shocked that they've done the Supercross replica stuff so much here recently, and they haven't done the AMA motocross, United States replica stuff. It's kind of bizarre. I'm really confused on why it's kind of been like that. I mean, I know Supercross is more of like a popular thing. A lot of people are into it, but I'm telling you, there are some hardcore motocross fans out there that want, Redbud replica, Southwick replica, like Washougal replica. We want that in a motocross game. And obviously we have it in Simulator all the years and Reflex on PC, but I'm talking about like in these games that are kind of going down that replica route, right? Like even with MX vs. ATV All Out, they've got all the Supercross replicas, even though they may not be like 100% accurate. Not quite as accurate as like the official Monster Energy Supercross game. Maybe not that level of graphics. Definitely not that level of graphics. But, they're still kind of going down the replica feel for that. So it would not shock me to see a Nationals replica for MX vs. ATV All Out. It honestly would not shock me to see that. I've seen some stuff on a lot of people saying it's going to be like the Goat Farm's going to be their next DLC and all that. That friggin' little Instagram vid they put out, that made that look like trail tracks, dude. I'm sorry about that. That's exactly what that looked like to me. That did not look like no, Ricky Carmichael farm track or anything, but that's what a lot of people are saying. So I guess there might have been like an Easter egg in there or something like that, and some people found that. So yeah, I can't always know like every little fine detail of every little specific thing before I go in there and make a video, so I apologize for that. But apparently it's possibly going to be like Ricky Carmichael replica DLC. Maybe it will have certain trail tracks. I mean, good Lord, it still looked like there was some sort of trail track on that little Instagram clip video, so I'm assuming it's still going to be some sort of trail something. But yeah, I was expecting more like, actual GNCC trail racing series in the game or something. But either way, I feel like at this point, especially with the way the MX vs. ATV All Out motocross tracks are in the game, being like super simplistic, super smoothed off. Kind of all of them just kind of have this weird same feeling to them. You know, like on the default Reflex tracks, national tracks on that, you know how they all kind of had a bit of a different feel to them, like the more Washougal style track that was on there versus like Razorback, and then you go to all the sand tracks on the original Reflex, which is like totally different vibe than that. Then you go to the like super desert dry Blue Groove style tracks on there that were totally different than all those other tracks I just named. So it was like they just had a little bit of everything. You know, they had the sand, the hard pack dry Blue Groove slick, they had a little bit of the brownie mix, almost like a mammoth style track, had some cool little design stuff like that, had more of a wet muddy Texas, you know, kind of red clay style track on it. So but with like MX vs ATV All Out, see, the issue is you can go from like one of the tropical, you know, like sand style tracks and then to one of the other tracks, national tracks in the game, and they just all kind of feel the same. It's like, yeah, some of them may have more water ponds on them, and they may have different dirt looks to them and everything, like as far as visually, but in all reality, just about every single one of the all-out national tracks feel kind of the same. It's like the same sort of design of, you know, like corner design, width design, just standard track obstacle design, roughness design. There's basically none. There's like no braking bumps, hardly any actual real ruts on the track. It's kind of like just these bigger berms. Feels quite outdated. The national tracks on All Out does, for sure. That's something I didn't even realize a whole lot when the game first came out. That's something that kind of took me a minute to realize. Was like after playing the game for a little while, I was like, oh, what? I'm like over here playing with one hand, scratching my face right now. Sorry. Excuses. There you go, Spence. I'm still doing it right now. Itching my nose, bro. But yeah, that was one thing that, like, the Nationals seem kind of cool when you first get into them on All Out, like when you ride on the Tropical Nationals and, you know, that kind of thing. And there is one of the tracks got more like red style and a bunch of water on it and stuff. But once you really ride on them for like any considerable amount of time, you'll realize what I'm talking about. They're like basically all the same track. It's just a different biome on it. You don't even really get that like super sand vibe, roller sand type of feel on any of the tracks. You know, like the kind of sandy roller through a corner bump design to it. You don't really get any of the super hardcore dry slick Blue Groove feel. Not a whole lot of that super brownie mix dirt feel on any of the tracks. It's just weird how they're built, you know. And so I feel like that being such a missing element from MX vs ATV All Out, it would just only make sense for them to go in there and make like a legit Lucas Oil National Replica Series DLC for it, man. That's one of the biggest things. If I could just sit down, if I was like the dude over there at Nordic and Rainbow and all that, if I was capable of doing that without spending too much money, right? Because I'm sure the licensing on that and all that would cost them some extra money if they don't already have the rights to it. Being able to make the series, right? It's like, if they can do that, oh my gosh, dude. That is the ticket right there. That's the way to go, because that's what everybody's really wanting in MX vs ATV All Out, is more roughness, more bumps, more realistic AMA ruts, like more skill gap on the roughness and bumps and jumps, and instead of that kind of flat tracking feel, like kind of weird, bizarre, outdated on-track feel that a lot of the All Out Nationals have. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here like, could you just imagine, you know how some of those cool little sand sections they have on some of those new arena cross tracks with that newer terrain deformation on it? I just imagine, like, if you took that, made a whole track out of it, like Southwick vibe, right? Added a little bit more pre-made kind of rollers and pre-made little berm ruts in the corners and stuff, and then had that newer terrain deformation on top of all that. Think about how sick that would be in All Out if you had all that. That'd be so cool, man. So either way, that's just, you know, maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. It's one of those things. It is a little bit like, yeah, we may never see that. I don't know. Seems like they're going down the road of possibly Ricky Carmichael, you know, replica stuff. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing. I was definitely hoping for something more than that, but oh my God. But yeah, basically, like, you know, like back in some of these Reflex custom AMA national replica tracks on here, you know, something more like this type of feel to it for All Out would be so cool. I just, it's just weird, man, how the games, in All Out is like one of the better recent MX versus ATV games. That's what's crazy about it. You know, you look at All Out like, man, this feels basic. Man, this feels outdated in certain occasions. I mean, the Supercross tracks are cool. They got some skill gap to them, and the free riding's fun. Whips are really, really, really free. And, all that kind of stuff is there, but it just has this bizarre, outdated feel to it. I don't know how else to explain that. It really does. And I had that concern before the game came out when I was saying, like, oh, this is like, some sort of Untamed 2 or Unleashed 2 or something like that. I remember making a couple vids on that before All Out came out because it kind of had that weird old school vibe look to it, like single stick control, super basic look in the corners and stuff. But when you actually get the game, I mean, it feels like that to some degree, but also not all the way. So it's kind of bizarre. But yeah, I mean, it's just so weird that like Reflex came out all that time ago and they still can't seem to get it like it was here. Can't even get it like what I would call close to this. It's so weird. Like all of the Alive wasn't close to this, and I know some of you guys absolutely love Alive, and that's okay. That's your own opinion, but I'm just saying it ain't got shit on Reflex. That's all there is to that. And then you've got, they went to MX vs. ATV Supercross, then Encore, and all that. And that was all trash compared to MX vs. ATV All Out, which is still not even really close to Reflex as far as like skill gap, on track fill, default tracks, all that kind of stuff. It's just not even to the realm of Reflex, It's just weird how games can go through those sort of stages where it's like their old school versions, old school games are way better than their newer stuff. I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes game companies kind of go through that every once in a while. But as far as like a, real AMA motocross replica, Lucas Oil replica for All Out, we might see it. We might not see it. This Ricky Carmichael compound or trail thing or whatever they're kind of putting in there might be about all they do DLC-wise. I don't know. I don't know how much longer they're going to work on All Out, right? It's going to be interesting to see, how much they really expand on some of that stuff. But who knows, man? It's just all kind of up in the air at this point as far as like if we're ever going to get a national replica. But just to any of those MX vs. ATV dudes watching any of my videos, if there is one thing that you can put in there that's like the best thing you could put in there, it's this right here. Straight up. Like, there's nothing. I mean, a trail series would be sick as hell. Like, I would love if you put that in there, but that's not even as good as a national AMA replica DLC. So it'll be interesting to see what the next milestone. It's just so weird. It seems a little unfair that they not only the MX vs. ATV series, but also the milestone games go in there and make Supercross replicas, and the MX vs. ATV series has been doing it for a cold minute now. But no one wants to go in there and make a Lucas Oil motocross replica game. It's so, like, weird to me. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. It's just like, why would they not have that? Even if it's its own standalone game, it's not, like, combined with the Supercross game. Why has that not been made yet? It's bizarre to me. I don't know. And I guarantee you that the Milestone company is not trying to make that because they have their MXGP series. So I guarantee you will not see a official Lucas Oil motocross game from the Milestone dudes. I bet you won't ever see that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's this weird licensing kind of conflicting shit going on where they can't make it. I don't know, man. Either way. But we'll see if the MX vs. ATV dudes can pull it off someday. Maybe in the next game that they make or something like that. Not sure. And it'll be interesting to see what the next MX vs. ATV game is going to end up kind of being like. But man, I cannot believe that they have not went in there and made like a Reflex 2, Reflex remastered, Reflex, right? Something like that. Oh my gosh, the amount of hype that would get, and worthy hype. That's actually worthy hype, dog. Like, having something that's been proven and then getting a second edition of it, that's something, if you want to hype over a Reflex 2, I will not question you for that at all. You know how I like got all kind of, twisted over people getting way overhyped for the official Monster Energy Supercross game, thinking it was going to be like, oh my god, the best fucking motocross game in the history of mankind, right? Like, people were they were kind of getting fed the bread. They were getting getting it all kind of getting buttered up, right? Like super buttered up. And it was all the advertisements and the graphics. Oh my God. And it was making it seem like it was more. And the official Monster Energy Supercross game, at the end of the day, it's not a god-awful terrible game. And I never said it was a god-awful terrible game. But it's not like Reflex level, right? Not even in the ballpark, not even in the realm. Graphically, it's better than Reflex, but as far as the filling and the track design and the skill gap and the content, it ain't even there at all, right? So, you know, a lot of people get that twisted whenever I say that kind of stuff, but it's just like, man, like, cause it's not even really a, you know, something that's really proven. Like when they come out and say Milestone is making a, you know, official Monster Energy Supercross game, like what exactly are you actually getting hyped about? Because Milestone games aren't even known for Supercross tracks. You know, that's the first Supercross game they've made, and it was like people were hyping it to the level of like Milestone had been making Supercross tracks all this time, and they were the best at Supercross track making, and finally they were making a replica series. Like, people were acting like that about it. I was sitting back like, holy God, dude, like they've never even made a Supercross game. You people need to calm your tits down a little bit, because it wasn't ever going to meet that sort of expectation that a lot of people had for it. And so either way, but I mean, it was an okay game, decent game, the official Monster Energy Supercross game. Not saying it was like amazing, not saying it was terrible, but you know, but like what I'm trying to get at though is if they announce Reflex 2, it's like you just about know, especially when you start seeing gameplay of it. It's like, yeah, you're going to be able to get pretty hyped for it, man. But if they can somehow get that track creation and all that back down, that'd be sick. But either way, bro, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a wait and see. I can only hope. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there feel the same way. It's just like you just want better national tracks. Hell, it don't even have to be, you know, an AMA replica series. I just want some better, more realistic nationals, bigger jumps, more hardcore like rollers and roughness and ruts, like smaller, more individual style, really grab you type of ruts on some of the national tracks that they have for MX versus ATV All Out. It could be just like some random biome tracks or whatever. It doesn't even necessarily have to be replica stuff, but if it was replica stuff, that would just take it to another level. That'd be sick, dude. Right, if they could pull that off on it, but I don't know. I just don't know if it's really feasible, you know, at this point. I just don't know how much more DLC they're really going to put into it. That's the main question. It's just like they're put this Arena Cross DLC. They've updated the you know, the terrain deformation twice. They put bike DLC. They've put it's going to be like this next either Ricky Carmichael DLC, Trail DLC, whatever the hell. And so that may be all they end up doing with it. And then, you know, most time games don't really put that much DLC in. Usually it's like a, you know, about 2 or 3 DLC tops that they'll put in there. So we're kind of running out of time to get us a like, you know, AMA National Lucas Oil Replica DLC for All Out. But either way, just wanted to come in here and talk about it. You know, just kind of give the opinion that a lot of people have on this. You know, I ain't the first guy that thought about this or whatever. It's just a matter of like, man, it just seems so weird, unfair, just kind of like, why would they go in there and make so many Supercross replica things, but then there's no national replica stuff? It's like, why would you do that? You know, just not a whole lot of sense making there when you really sit down and think about it. It's like motocross is the root of it all. So if you're going in there making Supercross replica games, like eventually you're going to need to go in there and make motocross replica games. That's like what it's all about. And obviously the Milestone company is capable of doing MXGP replica games. So maybe they'll, you know, throw a curveball and their next game will be a official motocross replica. It's possible. It's potential, right? That's kind of a possibility, but I don't know. I highly doubt you're ever going to get like a, you know, replica Supercross and motocross in the same game because all the licensing crap, but which is dumb. But you know, it'd be hard. If you get any sort of motocross and Supercross together, it's going to be kind of like how MX versus ATV All Out did it, right? Even though their Supercross tracks are replicated, they still have other random motocross tracks in there. Same way if you come out with a motocross replicated game, they could have like other random biome supercross tracks in there. But I don't think you're ever going to see like replicated supercross and replicated motocross in the same game other than simulator and reflex on PC, obviously. So either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dude.